Welcome everyone. Welcome to ChocoChips podcast. This is Dr. Aman Bajpai, a very dear senior mentor, I would say, and a very dear friend of mine, and also a very knowledgeable scholar, I would say, in the field of chemistry. So we are going to have wonderful conversations with him, and we are going to have a wonderful time ahead. सो ये पूरी बातचीत होने वाली है कई सारे मसलों पर, केमिस्ट्री के बारे में, व्हाट इज़ द फ्यूचर ऑफ इंडिया इन टर्म्स ऑफ साइंस, उनके बारे में थोड़ी सी बातचीत, रिलेशनशिप्स के बारे में और काफ़ी सारी चीज़ों के बारे में जिनके बारे में आपके मन में हो सकता है कई सारे सवाल हों। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं डॉक्टर अमन वाजपेयी के साथ ये पॉडकास्ट। So, Mr. Aman, welcome to ChocoChips, and I'm really honored and pleased to host you. Thanks for accepting the invite from your busy schedule. I know you are really busy. Before this podcast, we were having the conversation. So, thanks a lot for that. Yeah.
Thank you, Team ChocoChips. Thank you and best wishes for you. And thank you for inviting me for this podcast. And we'll interact something interesting here, and we'll see what we can go through it. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So yes, Mr. Bajpai, to begin with, please tell us a little bit about yourself. What are you doing? What you have done in the past? A little bit of idea about you for our viewers. Of course, I know about you, but just for our viewers. Yeah.
Okay. So I would like to introduce myself as a science enthusiast. So my name is Dr. Aman Bajpai. I did PhD from IIT Gandhinagar. To get into the PhD, I have passed NET CSIR exam in 2016, in which I have scored 61 rank, All India rank. So after that, with that one, I have gone through in the PhD. There's one phase came which you call it as a turning point of my life. So there I have started my science communication. It was a time during COVID 2019. So that time, just like everybody, I was also getting bored and wanted to try something new and wanted to learn something new. So in that way, I just started in a very raw manner. I started something to communicate whatever the knowledge I have. So in that way, the beginning of Be Convinced Science happened. So with that, I started my science communication journey, and from that day onwards, I'm trying to post something, whatever I'm learning and whatever I wanted to impart my knowledge, whatever the thing, I would try to do it with that social media sites. So just like this one, and apart from that, I am from a very small town from UP in Kanpur. So from there, I have just did my schoolings and all, and then I went to Pune, and after that, I went to IIT Gandhinagar. So this is a very short kind of introduction I have.
That is not at all short. I would say that would inspire and motivate a lot of the listeners and viewers. In fact, when I met you for the first time during COVID only via Instagram, right, if you remember. So since that time we are in touch and we are interacting. So even I get a lot motivated looking at you, because you are also a fitness freak and you also are a science enthusiast, managing so many things. You are also very active on Instagram. You have a YouTube channel, which of course you do as a hobby, but still you post some really good stuff. And I also saw your recent video has crossed 10,000 or some views, which you posted, right? Yeah. So I'll put the link in the description so that viewers can watch that. And yeah. So to begin with, Mr. Bajpai, I would like to ask you that we all have certain inhibitions towards failures in life, right? So can you list down some of the failures in your life and what all learnings you had from those failures? Because we have heard a lot of success stories. Every day on the internet, one or the other topper is sharing success strategies and stuff. You yourself are a topper, but also you have gone through a phase where you might not have succeeded. So would you like to share those failure stories and what are the learnings from that which can motivate our audience?
Okay. So just from your question, I can say that in your question, it is failures and learning. This is you have pointed out the same thing. So what I believe, according to me, is there's nothing as such failure. either you if you set some goal, either you win or you learn. So in my opinion, this failures is the steps to reach towards your goal. So that is what I can call it. So if your goal is actually high, it is difficult, so you need so many steps to reach to that point. So that is what I can call that these all failures are the steps that will guide you, that give you a kind of a like make you strong, that helps you to understand your previous faults and make you a strong individual, mature person. That is what I call it a failure. So without failure, if somebody is achieving something, he might be a kind of a half baked pot. So if something happened in his life, he would not be able to like tolerate it or not be able to cope up with the problem. So if somebody is having so many failures in his life, his or her life, so I would say that he might be a master in dealing with the situations, whatever the situation it is, bad or good, whatever the situation it is. So from my side, I will definitely say that failure, you should all we all should take the failures as a positive sign in our life, that is coming in our way to teach us and to help us to understand life more closely. And in no other way, I can say that the goal without a failures is maybe you have set a very low goal, or very less like what do you call it, a very low kind of a goal. So if your goal is very high, definitely you have to go through with the failures. So talking about my failures in my life, I'll say I've faced so many failures that actually helped me to become little bit what I am right now. So pointing out a few failures, I'll take one failure I faced when I completed my post graduation. So that time, actually what happened, we all know that we are coming from a very middle class family. So
Yeah.
everybody, we all have a pressure, like what we will do next after studies, what next.
Yes.
So these kind of things were there in my family also. So the pressure was too much, and all my friends and all my siblings, everybody is like getting settled in their life. They were either getting in a government job, or they are going into a corporate job, and all those everybody is like getting settled in the life. I was like, after masters, I have planned myself for becoming a scientist and all. I have thought of like that. So I given my net CSIR exam just after my masters. That in that exam I got failed. So that was my first failure, like big failure. Before that, I have failed so many times in the other way. But yeah, so that time I didn't clear the exam. So that hit me really hard, because my all my plans and whatever I have thought it is all just fade away. So I thought maybe it is just the end of my career. I will not do anything. I have to go to some call center or something like that. I don't know what I will do next. But this was my like what I am going through with my in that situation. But 1 or 2 months, I have just completely isolated myself, through my phone and all these things. I was like in a trauma kind of. But soon, what happened, my friends and my family supported me and given me a kind of motivation, and like just like what did this Jamvan ji to Hanuman ji, कि
Okay.
तुम्हारे अंदर अभी भी शक्ति है, you forgot about yourself, and
Yeah.
तुम्हारे अंदर बहुत कुछ है. So like that they motivated me, and then somehow I just again like gathered myself and tried again. And this time I tried it hard. And with this failure journey, I learned a lot. Like what are the reasons why I have not qualified the net in the first attempt. So I come to know my strategy was not good. I have to make a good kind of a strategy in the way that what are the questions which I should focus more, and what are the topics which I shouldn't be much focus, shouldn't put much focus. And in the same way, how much time I have to give to a particular section, and what are the things. So like that, I have tried it 3 months completely. I've gone through the papers and everything, and that's how in the next attempt I cleared it. So, and with a very good kind of marks, what I can call it. So this
Definitely.
this was my first failure, and with the failure, so much learning I have gone through. So talking about second one, I'll see it in 2019, which was a turning point of my life, as I told, during COVID time. So already 3 years has passed in my PhD. Like I have joined in 2017. And from 17 to 19, it was like 2.5 years already passed. So I didn't got any paper, international paper in general. I have not published anything. So many of my colleagues, or you can call it my batchmates, they have one or two papers and they are publishing it. So or maybe sooner they are going to publish it. But I was like completely blank. What should I do? And because of this lockdown and all, I won't be able to go to labs also. So that was a very tense kind of a situation came. But because of my like previous kind of experience, what I call it, so because of that, I was like keeping myself calm. I know that something will come up and everything will be all right. So like that, I have just started thinking of doing something else apart from just doing thinking about it and doing in a research, because there was completely shut down of the labs and all. So that time I started, maybe I should learn new skills. I should try to increase my communication skills, and started writing something, because that can help me in writing my thesis and all these things, and to understand anything deeply into it. So I started learning more about different topics, and in that way I like try to improve my understanding about different aspects of research and development, and apart from science also, everything. So just like in this way, I just build this kind of a thing. So what I can call it, ki this was also a good learning thing for me. Failure, you can we from the outside we can say that this is a failure, like 2.5 years you have not published anything. But from my perspective, what I feel, that time, that was a very crucial time for me. I have learned so many things, and because of that, I completed my PhD and everything, and now I settled into a good company in which I'm doing a scientist position. I'm in a scientist position. So all these things comes because that position in which right now I am, that position needs a good communication skill. That position needs a good kind of a confidence level. That was not there in me when I have started my channel, and we also call it started my journey. So that time I didn't have that confidence, but uh, this phase has taught me a lot in this aspect also, and now I have a little bit like generated this kind of qualities also.
That's great. So coming out of a situation when you have trauma, you said that you were about to throw your phone and not talking with anybody and completely isolating yourself, bouncing back from that situation really takes so much courage and so much guts, right? So I really appreciate that, and in fact our audience would love to appreciate that, in fact. So but during those situations you might not have thought that okay, this failure would teach me something, right? So when the failure happens, at that time we are very sad, but when we look back we can obviously join the dots and say that I failed, so that's why I'm here. And I would say you did not fail, you had your nourishment period, you were getting nourished by different circumstances.
So, just like what you said, okay, I didn't know that time what is the thing which is going on with me, whether it is going to take me in the right direction, or is it the end of my career and all. But what I have seen with these experiences, that there is a time for each and everything. Like what I believe, I don't know whether it is correct or not. There is always a right time for a right thing. If you have done a lot of hard work for achieving something, like you have given some exam, you have done so much of hard work, and you have done a proper tactics and everything was correct, then also maybe sometime it happens that you don't get that desired result. But what I believe is, there is a particular time, there's a particular right time for that particular right work. So just wait for that right time. It will definitely come sooner or later, it will definitely come, and that time will be your time. So that is what I can say to anybody who is listening to this one, ki just wait for your time. Even if you have done a hard work, even if you have done everything correct, then also maybe the time is not correct. Just wait for that correct time.
Definitely, definitely. And this is a great learning which we can derive from your personal experiences. See, when we see people around us who have gone through it and who have bounced back, who have gone through such kind of situations, it really gives us courage. And that's why I wanted you to share your stories which are related to not getting the success in common popular terms, because success stories we keep hearing and listening, but this is a greater motivation I feel. So there might be a lot of hidden challenges in the field of higher studies in our country, right? Which might not be available on the internet, which might not be available for the common masses. Since you have done it on the field, you have all the do's and the don'ts, you have all the pros and the cons. So, what would you like to advise, or what would you like to uh, share in that regard with somebody who is trying to venture into the field of research or even higher studies in Indian context? That would really be helpful.
So what I can say these days, like when I have joined my like higher studies PhD, that time there was very less social media contents, and there was no much information about. But these days there are so much information about each and every things, aspects about. There are so many memes pages talking about the difficulties which are going through in the life of scholars and all. So there are so much things available. But from my side, what I can say, I would like to divide these difficulties into four parts, what I'll call it. So these four parts might be what I can give the name as like mental and social difficulty, financial difficulties, isolation difficulty, relationship difficulty. Talking about the financial difficulty, we all know that at this age when we start the higher studies, basically I'm talking mostly about the PhD students, or if you are somebody is doing a master's also, then also they are probably in the age of 25 to 26, or maybe more than that, 30 age, till 30 PhD life goes. So in that age, most of the people which whom we see in our surrounding, like our friends or family members or like siblings, everybody, they get a good jobs and all. They are financially stable. They are getting married and all these things. And when you see yourself, you will find that you are still a student. You are living a life of a student, and at the age of 29, 28, 30, like that. And when you see your stipend, you feel like your stipend is even less than the peon of some some government place or something. So even that, less than that, the scholarship. So you feel a little bit more like a frustrated. You feel like this is not what you expect. Like that should not be the place where you should be there. So you feel a little bit not comfortable with that. The other thing which I call it as a mental and social kind of difficulties, which most of the people, everybody, like I can call it like everybody in India feels is that because the pressure of the coursework in the PhD, or even in the masters also, if you do it with a good institute or something. So the pressure of getting a good CGPA in your exams. After that, your research work, because you need to compete with the international level. Because if suppose, as I am from IIT, so in IITs we always have to compete with the international level. We don't publish the papers in Indian journal, with a very low impact factors. We don't publish it. We generally try to publish the papers in a high impact factor papers, and try to compete with the counter researchers from different countries without having much resources, without having much salary, or what you call it, a stipend, and
Stipend,
without
yeah.
having much equipment, and without having much proper equipments. We have to compete with them. So this is a very big challenge which we have to face it. Sometime lot of kind of a pressure comes from your guide sides.
Yeah.
The guide is always a kind of problem in most of the people's life,
Yeah.
because his expectation is always very high, because he wanted all his expectation to put on your shoulder.
In fact, I have also seen you. Sorry to interrupt. In fact, I have also seen you uploading a lot of memes regarding guide, right, in your PhD. Yes, yes.
So this is what. So this creates a lot of mess or tension in your life because of these kind of pressure. And the third one, which I call it as isolation pressure. This is a really difficult situation, because when we are in a research field, or when we are doing a kind of this kind of studies, higher studies. So that time the pressure is too much. We have to learn so many things. We have to go through a deep study, really deep study, to find out something new in the field.
Yes.
So for that purpose, you have to put your heart and soul to that thing. In that process, what happens, like sometimes you won't be able to connect with your old friends. You won't be able to connect with your families. You don't give much attention to them, and all these things create a kind of void between you and your friends and all people, other peoples. So after some years or after some time, you feel like you are left alone. You don't have somebody to talk. If you even have a good day, you got some success in your research field, and you got something, you have nobody to discuss with him or her. And also in the same way, if you have a bad day, you wanted to discuss that your guide has done so much bad with you that particular day, but you don't have anybody to discuss with this. So this isolation is really very hard hitting thing in the life of higher studies students. So we have to, like, that is why I always prefer to have some good friends and to have some good hobbies apart from just being in a lab and all. Just try to make some like friends outside the labs, go to play cricket, play badminton, go to gym, something like that, so that you can make good friends and you can have a good social life also apart from research. So in that way you can interact with them. And the last one is a relationship problem. So difficulties, that one way I can call it as, if suppose you have, that generally generates when you have a long distance, you are in a long distance relationship. So with the studies, with the higher studies, with the research and all, if you have a long distance relationship, it would become very very difficult for anybody, because long distance relationship needs a lot of investment of your
Yeah.
time, investment of your like everything, like every
Yes.
aspect of your life you have to invest it in the long distance relationship. And if you are doing research, you have to invest your time and energy into the studies, not in the relationship. So in the anyway, it will affect your relationships also. So these are the things which actually major difficulties, I'll say.
That's amazing. The way you categorized it, it would really help our viewers. And in fact, these are some of the things which very less people talk on the internet actually. They normally talk about the difficulties while attending a college, or let's say while attending the labs, but they do not talk about this side of the aspect. As you said, that isolation is one, relationship problems are there. So my very next question was about this only. So a lot of people feel that when we are in the phase of study, at that time we should put relationship into the back seat. So what is your opinion on that? Do you feel that a relationship or a good relation can rather strengthen what you are doing and not harm? How do you go about it? Into I'm sure you have had experience of all that. So how would you put that?
So I think I'm a very good person to answer this question, because just now I got married, and I am married with my lab partner, I can say that. So she was also with me in IIT Gandhinagar. So we were together in that phase. So what I'll say, and to be honest, if she was not there, my journey of this PhD journey would not be that beautiful, would not be that fruitful, and would not be that amazing, if I call it
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So what I'll say is, like, relationship is very beautiful thing, but it depends upon what kind of a relationship you are having. So if it is just a time pass relationship, or these days what going on in the like worldwide it is going on, if that kind of a relationship you are having, time pass relationship, just without having any like focus in the, or without having any goal in the relationship, then I don't think and in any place it will work. And in that way it will always give the kind of a negative impact in your life. But if your relationship is completely with the goal, and if your relationship is just to nourish each other, and if your relationship is enough mature, in one word I will say that, if your relationship is mature enough, then all your difficult time, this relationship will always back you, will always help you to overcome with the difficulties. So whatever the difficulties I have told in the previous question. So I'll say that with all the difficulties, she was always there with me. So that would become very easy for me. If I was having some financial problem, she was also there. Okay, we together will manage it. If I was having isolation problem, she always irritate me, come to me, poke me, and like that she always try to like cheer me up. So in that way, and if suppose I have a isolation I never faced, because she was always there to like cheer me up, and I never go through with that phase because of her. So what I'll say, the relationship is very beautiful, and it is very important if you are going for a higher studies. But in the same time, I would say, don't rush behind the for the relationship, because if you rush behind the relationship, or if you run behind to make the relationship or something to work with somebody, so it will not work like that in that way, because in that situation when you are enough mature, you can't pretend to show that you actually love it. So in that case, what I'll say ki you have to search for somebody who is mature enough, just like you, or who is if not mature, then he or she should be enough to mature to understand your condition and situation, and will not leave you in your bad time. So that is what you should first look when you wanted to make a relationship. तो यही है कि
Absolutely.
अगर किसी का भी रिलेशनशिप के पीछे भागने से बनाते ज़्यादातर जितने भी रिसर्च स्कॉलर हैं in the field of like these IITs and ICERs and all these places, so they mostly try to like somehow make the relationship like
Yeah,
without
yeah.
having any kind of a mental connection, without having any personality connection and all, just try to make the anyhow some relationship, but those relationships mostly end up with the failures. So in the way, if you wanted to make the relationship, it is very good, but make it with the right person. Try to like get it.
That's so insightful. And in fact, we also have a kind of FOMO in our society. Okay, if somebody is not into a relationship, that person doesn't have that kind of swag. That person doesn't know anything. That person is some sort of a normal human being. So we have tagged it as a very necessary luxury, and it is not like that, right? As you correctly said, that if the frequency is matching, if the vibes are matching, then only you should go into it. Even this is not only with research scholars. I have seen school children committing this blunder and later on realizing that okay, this was a wastage of time, right? So very nicely put. Thanks a lot for that insightful information. On that line of thought, I would go to the next thing which I would like to talk about. These days, what we all observe is that science as a subject is somewhere taking a back seat, because a lot of people just want to become influencers. A lot of people just want to get famous as quickly as possible. And in that order to become famous, they are throwing bite-sized content. That okay, they are making a 30-second science video, blowing a balloon and bursting it and saying it is because of pressure difference and all. So what do you feel? A country which is moving towards that, I'm sure that there are many other people who are trying to make people understand science and communicate in a better way, like you do, whom we call as science communicators, right? But there are a lot of people, and in fact their population is higher, who are providing bite-sized content in science as well. I personally believe that science education requires long-form content, and it requires pondering over for a longer time rather than those small snippets. So what is your take on that? Where are we going with that?
So what I can call is everything has the pros and cons. What I'll call it, it has numerous pros and numerous cons also. One pros I can say it is like suppose it creates a curiosity amongst people. Like if suppose some research happened and some NASA has find out new satellite or something like that, and some graduate has made thought of okay grabbing this opportunity and making a video into it so that we can get a good millions of views. But in that same time, he helped so many people to know okay this is the thing which is going on in the world. So somewhat he or she has given the idea about the situation what is going on. So as a viewer, what our thing should be there is we should learn whatever the bite size information is there in those platforms. Just take those ideas and then go through what is the actual news and what is the actual research behind it, or whatever it is, what is the actual study behind it. So talking about this thing, we need both kind of things, long studies, or like what you call it, a deep study is also required, as well as this kind of a bite size of information is also required, because sometimes it is not everybody. Suppose for example I am from the field of chemistry, and if somebody wanted me to teach something from the field of physics, and if he started teaching me with a deep core understanding and learning things, then it would become sometimes difficult for me to understand it. But if some YouTuber with very less information and knowledge, if he tries to explain me with a very layman kind of a language, in the very animated way, or in a very visualizing kind of a way, so then maybe I would understand it much better. So it has this kind of a pros, what I all. But in the on the same time, there's so many cons. Like people started feeling that this much amount of knowledge is sufficient for them to like to go into your in the field whatever they wanted to go. But this will never going to help them, because what we call it, आधा भरा घड़ा ज़्यादा आवाज करता है. But it
Yeah,
is not
yeah,
actually, it is not actually correct key that will also buy like break, like if you shake it a little more, that will also
yes,
break it. So like
yes,
that is the way it should be. So you what you have to do is, in that era of information flooding everywhere, so you just try to grab those informations and just keep it in your side, and whatever the information which you feel that this is a good information, in which this information I should spend my time, go through with them, read the research paper, read the articles whatever published around that news, and then you can get the knowledge. So in that way I'll say that it has both pros and cons. So that is what I feel.
great. So, very well crafted answer. I would say that you found the positive aspect of it as well. But that habit needs to be inculcated, right? That you saw something and you dig deeper into it. But very few of us do that. In fact, we mindlessly watch it, and that should not be there.
One more thing, we should not consider them like what people like these days calling them an influencer and all. We should not consider them as an influencer. We should
Yeah.
take them as a, okay, they are giving some information and all. Because if we started feeling if we started feeling about somebody that he's an influencer and I have an influence of his in my life, then you started becoming more like him. We don't know what
Yeah.
kind of personality he is.
Yeah.
We don't know what whether he whatever he's telling us is correct or not. So what I'll feel, it's better to not from our side, if we are like a enthusiast of science and wanted to hear something from somebody, don't just blindly trust him, and don't call him influencer, him or her influencer.
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
take him that him or her as if he's telling something, okay, that is good for me, I'll learn something like that.
Great. So basically, what science teaches us is that we should start questioning with logic and dig deeper into it. So that's what you're suggesting. So absolutely, that's wonderful. I just wish and hope that a lot of people listening to this would take some inputs from here and they would start digging deeper into it rather than just talking about the James Webb Telescope. I have seen that a lot of people just simply talk about James Webb Telescope, but they do not give a damn about what it is. They just feel cool talking about it. So that notion has to be broken, right? On the very line of thought, I would also like to ask you, since you are into the field of research, you have seen a lot of professors very closely doing research, helping you out. So we have seen that from India, very few people have got the Nobel Prize in science, and as a whole as well. We have got Nobel Prizes, but very less. So, what do you feel in our education system? What is lacking that we do not have that drive or zeal to acquire a Nobel Prize or to mesmerize the world with a new research? So, what is that pain point that it is always somebody from the outside who wins it, and we win it very rarely, one in 1,000 or something like that? Yeah.
So I'll say this is all because we are a developing nation. We are not yet developed. So what I wanted to say with this statement is that because of the financial condition which we have in our country, per capita income of persons in staying in the country, that is the major reason why we are not producing so much good research, why we are not producing so much Nobel laureates, because of the lack of fundings which we got from the government, from the research agencies and all. But if we see the fundings, and if we see the compare it with the fundings which the other countries get, for example European Union countries, what funding they get, we're talking about the USA, what fundings they get for the same kind of a research is, maybe I can call it a 4 to 5 times much more higher than what we got. So that is the reason what, as you have already we have already discussed about this failure problem. So I
Yes.
can connect these 2 points, like because we have a doubt, or we have a problem, like if suppose we failed in doing something new, or trying to innovate something new or something extraordinary, in that process if we failed, then next time we will not get the funding, we will not
Yeah.
having the money to do our normal research also. So that fear of the failure, and the fear of not getting the fundings, and because of that most of the people don't want to go for the innovative ideas. They just want to do the conventional research, because they know that with the conventional research they will keep on getting the papers, with the papers they keep on getting the fundings, and like that they don't have to face the crisis of money. So this is very very important to understand. We are not lacking behind with anybody in terms of education, in terms of what you research. Because I myself, we in our lab, and in other labs also, what I have seen, there's so many people who have so much of knowledge, and those who have so much of zeal to do something new, they end up not doing it that well. They end up doing it something which is very normal, and which we call it, okay, this can be done by anybody, we'll do it, like anybody can do that, like that research kind of that kind of a research they go into, leaving their ideas. If I talk about my case, I was also having so many ideas when I was doing my PhD, with a very innovative kind of ideas to treat cancer and all these things. But I have never tried to, or I can call it like never dared to go into that field. I tried it also, but that time always you get the pressure from higher authorities. For example, my guide and other people, they stops you, because they tell that it will take time, it will take resources, it will take money that we don't have. So rather than going into these kind of ideas, and whether it will be work or not, we don't know, so it's better to go with the conventional ideas, whatever is going on in the lab, just do like that. So that is the reason. Suppose if 1,000 people try, so 1,000 research scholars try 1,000 kind of a new innovative idea, maybe one or two get hit, and once it get hit, you can get the Nobel Prize. So that is the
Yes.
problem. In Europe and USA, and if you talk about the developed countries, they have no problem with the fundings. For example, if we compare ISRO and NASA, we
Yeah.
know there's a big difference. ISRO, whenever they launches anything, they have a fear. If suppose that got failed, if suppose that, then everybody start questioning the
Yes.
taxpayer money. They are wasting the taxpayer
Yes.
money. $100 million they can invest in the poor, for the feeding people, for feeding people and all. If we, and in the same way, if we see the China, if we see USA, they are spending so much money, they're wasting so much money, they are not getting so much success also. If you compare the success rate of ISRO with the success rate of China's agency, or with the NASA, you will find out that we are on a top level in terms of the in terms of what you call it, less failures. So but then also we are not reaching to their level, just because we can't do so much of innovative tries, we can't give so many innovative tries. So that is the reason why we are lacking here.
That's wonderfully put again. So, developing nation, and ultimately it boils down to economy of our country, right? So, and even in fact, I am also hopeful that if our economy gets a push, then ultimately new research ideas would generate from here. But on the contrary side, I would also like to have a deeper question to this. If we look at our education system, don't you think that our risk taking appetite is low? Because in our schools we are taught that, okay, if you study hard, you'll get a good job, this much LPA you will get, and you will be living a very good life, you will have everything. Instead, we do not have that mentality inculcated inside a child since childhood in Indian education system. At least in the system where I have studied, it was nowhere standing like that. That, okay, if you study hard, you can actually give a new law to the world of physics. This thought is never put into the mind of the child, right? So I feel somewhere down the lane we also have a lower risk appetite. Yeah. Well, what's your take on that?
Again, I would like to say this also connected with the problem of financial problem. So what I'll say, why people say the same word like you have to work hard so that you will get the job. Once you get the job, you will get the money, and once you get the money, you will be able to feed your family. You will be able to again live a luxurious life. You will be able to, at least not luxurious life, though at least you will give a good social life and everything. So everything comes down to the money. We also wanted to, every child, what I see these days especially, every child and every student wanted to achieve something, wanted to do something. Yeah, just like if you see in the YouTube or Instagram or somewhere, everybody wants to try hard, everybody wants to innovate something, some dialogue, something like that, some foolishness maybe,
Yes.
but they try
Yes.
to do something. They try to
Yes.
stand out from the world. So everybody is trying it, but the issue is, in this field, in the field of studies, you have to first establish yourself as a like a salaried person. Once you become a salaried person, then only you will be considered as a like educated person, or you will be considered as a good kind of a, what you call it, stable person. If you are
Yeah.
not financially stable, you are not earning properly, even if you have done so much of studies also, nobody will give you a damn about what you have studied. Everybody will say that he doesn't have a knowledge, maybe that's why he's not getting a
Yeah.
salary job.
Yes.
That is the thing. So in deep down in our mind, everybody having a problem, like first we have to get settled down, then only we can think of any other thing. So unless and until our situation will come to that place where our per capita income is too high and we don't have to take care about the bank balance, we just have to focus on the good life and thinking about what else we can offer to the world. If that situation comes, no, definitely everybody will do miracle in this country, because you have seen from your, we can see from our side here that in every company, big companies, Microsoft and everywhere, whatever the company, you will take the name big companies and we will see that CEOs is from the India. It means they have the talent, no doubt about the talent. Only thing is they are just running behind the jobs and for the salary, and in that way they are reaching to the top. Suppose they started the
Yeah.
journey of job, so they reach to the top of that job, like becoming a
Yeah.
CEO and all. So this shows that they have so much of talent, they have so much of our education, whatever the education way we are having, we can call it as a not a good way of education, because we keep on mugging up the things. But what I have seen, whatever the situation, you will keep the Indians, they know what the importance of information, what is the importance of knowledge. They know everything, and they keep on trying to develop their skills. But now every time the financial conditions come into their like path, and they put the hurdles in their life. So that is the problem. Once it will be solved, I'm sure this will not come in our mind that our Indians are not that good and our education system is not good. Definitely it will come.
Great, great. Very positive remarks on that. I really appreciate. I mean, in this kind of area where everybody starts complaining about the education system and education not being so good, you're showing an optimistic way, which is really, really good and sound, I would say. On that very note, I would also like to mention that, as you said, that our country is obviously a developing nation. In countries which are developed, in most of the countries of Europe, they have something called unemployment stipend. I mean, there they do not have the fear that, okay, if I fail, what will the society say? In fact, there people wear failure as a badge of honor. What I have seen. I mean, I have talked with people on Twitter, so they say that, okay, we do not have the fear of failure, and that's why we have seen Silicon Valley rising up in America, right? So you are actually correct, because once we get developed, we have enough money to give something like unemployment stipend as well. Then people would come out of that comfort zone, and that what should I say? The education system teaching us to have a good job, that is the end goal of education, will turn into end goal of education is research, right? So thanks a lot for that wonderful perspective on why we are actually not lagging behind. Instead, we are actually basically lagging behind and falling prey to the circumstances. It's not on our ability, but it's the circumstance, right? On the same line of thought, I would also like to ask you something very important. A lot of young kids might be watching this, and in school, maybe a ninth grader or a 10th grader, if they are thinking of taking chemistry for their life, thinking of taking chemistry as a subject and romancing with chemistry for their entire life. So, what would you like to tell a ninth or a 10th grader who is developing some sort of interest and flair in chemistry now, and in plus two, they will have that option and leeway to study chemistry properly, and later on, obviously, they will have specialization. So, what would you like to tell them? How should they look at it and go about it?
So what I would like to say about it is, let's see, every subject has its own beauty. So if you have some kind of a interest in particular in some particular subject, if you are in seventh or eighth class or even lower than that, you should go through with everything, whatever the teachings you are getting, you should enjoy all those teachings. But once you go into the little higher studies, what you call it as a 8th, ninth, or 10th class, so in that phase, I'll say that if you want to burn the flame of becoming a chemist, or want to become a chemist, a hardcore chemist or chemistry like scientist in the field of chemist, then what I'll say, you start looking into the things going around and try to find out what chemistry is going on behind these things. Like everything, what just like what you can call being a physics student, what you can call everything is having a physics behind it. I would say that everything what is going on is having some chemistry behind it. So if we talk about some whatever the oxygen we are taking and breathing, and whatever the photosynthesis going on, because of which we are eating the food, whatever the sun light we are reaching, which we are getting it, whatever the metals we see that it is getting rusted, and whatever the things which you see is all some way or the other way is having some chemical reactions in it, and because of those reactions these things are happening. So once you start questioning like what kind of a chemistry is going on behind this phenomena, then you would start liking the subject chemistry, because you will find it that this is a field which can give you a lot of answers about the hidden phenomena which you probably think that the reason which you probably don't know, then you can find those reasons from the field of chemistry. I will say definitely in other field also, just like in biology also, in physics also, everybody is having this kind of beauty in it, that they can show you they can show you the inner side of the phenomena. But apart from that, what I can say that this chemistry subject is having something extraordinary in terms of like what I can say from my perspective is that it not only having one core branch of understanding only chemical reaction, it connects with the field of maths, it connects with the field of physics also, and sometimes it connects with the field of literature also, because while doing the research work you have to go through with the literature and all. So this chemistry connects all the things. For example, if we see the physical chemistry, it contains a lot of phenomena which is defined well in the physics, and for that phenomena, establishing those phenomena, we need to incorporate the maths also. So in that way we can say, and if suppose we go through the organic chemistry, it is more like connected more like a maths, because when we know that in maths there's a formulas, and with the formulas you can solve each and every question, like every type of questions is having some kind of phenomena, some kind of a formula. In the same way, this organic chemistry, which I found is the most interesting in out of all the chemistry, which from my side, I can say that this organic chemistry, each and every reaction is having some or the other driving force behind it, some phenomena behind it, some reason behind it, why this particular reaction is happening in the particular way, why this is not reacting in the other way around. And this you need to just give more attention, and you need to go through a deep learning into it. Once you will get it, then you will find out that if anybody says that you want this, I want this chemical to be like synthesized, you will be able to synthesize that chemical if you have gone through the deeper knowledge about this subject. So this is what I found it very interesting, that this chemistry can make you master in physics, maths, not master, but at least touch you in the aspects of physics, chemistry, maths, all the things it connects. And in the same way, it also have many applications these days. So many applications are going on in the field of chemistry. Where we have seen the COVID situation in which the vaccine has been created within a short span of time, and this was happened just because by the help of connecting the biology and the chemistry together and making this all happen in so fast. In
Yeah,
the same way,
yeah.
we have seen so many pharmaceutical industries are thriving, and so many pharmaceutical industries are growing, and all these things. So this is all happening because of we are able to now synthesize any kind of a molecule, and with those any kind of a molecules, we are able to produce a cure for the different diseases. In the same way, if suppose in the if you see that if we want to make a cement, suppose for example, we have to take the help from the nature, or suppose anything. If you wanted to,
True.
even if you wanted to make anything, for example, rubber, rubber in the sense like for example tubes, tire tubes, or tube tires, anything you wanted to make, then what you have to do, you have to go for the natural resources and all these things. But now because of the advancement of the chemistry, you can synthesize anything, even the heart, whatever heart inside, you can synthesize in the lab just by the help of understanding the
This
molecular
is amazing. Yeah.
movement. Biology and chemistry both. Like I'll not say
Yes.
that this is only a work of chemistry. It is a work of chemistry and biology. And with those connections, you can make anything, whatever you
Yes.
wanted to make. You can make those things by understanding what ingredients you need to make that
Yeah.
compound or whatever the final product. And those ingredients also you can synthesize by your understanding. So in that way, I'll say that chemistry is very beautiful. If you go deeper into it, it is endless, it is enormous, just like ocean.
We can already see how much passionate you are about chemistry. The way you told encapsulating every other field into chemistry, that is simply brilliant. In fact, to be very honest, if my teacher would have told me all these things in my school, I might have got fascinated towards chemistry as well, because somehow I cannot connect with chemistry till this date, and I love physics more. But the way you told it just by listening to it, it feels that chemistry is also so beautiful, right? So that's great. uh, I know you are quite busy, and I would not take much of your time. So we can move to the final thing. One final advice for our viewers and listeners, what would you like to give? And on the other hand, one final advice, what would you like to give to your younger self? Maybe when you were 16, if you get a chance to go back in time and tell something to your 16-year-old self, what would be that thing? And one advice to our viewers, whosoever is watching this.
One thing that I would advise all the audience who are listening, and whoever who is listening, is that keep learning. That is one thing in life we should never stop. Maybe you have heard it from many people, but this is from my personal experience, what I have seen. Like there is no limit of learning things. Being a chemist, I have not much knowledge about coding and these kind of animation kind of a thing, and these kind of things. But what I have only is that I have a passion to learn anything new. Because if something hear from someone like okay, this field is growing very fast and this is a very interesting field and something like that, I try to I feel like why these people understand it and why I can't understand it. I should also like this. I also have a brain just like them, and I also have studied so many things. So why not try this field also? So in the time frame whichever I have in time of research and all these things, what I am doing, I have taken some time for learning other things also. In the meantime, I try to learn coding also. I try to learn animation also. I try to learn how to write properly, how to present things properly. All these things I keep on learning. Even till now, I am learning trading, how to do trading and all these things. What is the
That's
best
amazing.
way without putting money? wanted to know, because I've seen these days so much craze towards trading, so much craze towards stock market and all. So I was completely raw about all these things, about this trading and all. So I thought, why these, if these people can understand, why shouldn't I understand? Why can't I learn these things? So I started learning these things also. So what I'll say, if you keep on learning something new, you always feel young, you always feel very motivated, and all the time you feel like you don't feel any kind of a laziness, you don't feel any kind of a lethargy, you don't feel like I don't have aim in my life, anything. You all the time you will be focused on something, learning something new. These days I am just sleeping around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, and just waking up around 5 or 6 o'clock, just to see what are the happened to the last day market, and why it is happening like that, what is the logic behind that, what is the news going on behind it, and like that the passion is working continuously. It is trapping me, and giving me a kind of a new hit, what you better call it.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to learn more and more about this thing also.
A new
So in
type
this
of
way,
kick you are getting. Yeah.
yes. So that is what I'll like to say. Never say that this is enough. I have learned enough, and I don't want to learn anything else. Just not in the, and especially not in your field only. Don't learn only in your field. If you constrain yourself in only in your field, you will never feel the passion. You will never feel that kind of spark, because
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
certain time, like at certain limit, you will start feeling like this is this is going continuous, and you don't find it any more kick in that field. So it is there still, so many things are going on. But what I have find out, if you want to keep yourself very active and motivated, then you should find new fields also, and in those fields also try to learn something, without leaving your field, obviously, but just putting your some time in those fields also. So in that way you can grow yourself, you will be having a lot of knowledge, and in the same time you will be able to be fruitful for the society also. Sometimes these learnings can impart with the people, and you can be fruitful to the people also. So this is what I
Yeah.
would like to say.
That's really amazing and very nicely put, I would say. And in fact, the way you have that zeal of learning different things, even I have that zeal, and I'm also learning a lot of different things. So congratulations on your trading journey. I wish that you become, more successful one day than that of late Rakesh Jhunjhunwala sir, right? The very famous trader. That's my wish. I know that he was a legend. He will be a legend, but still, yeah. And on the wrapping note, if you can tell our viewers about your YouTube channel a little bit, so that they can check it out. What kind of content do you post, and of course, what do you feel about my YouTube channel and this ChocoChips?
I would like to start with your channel, ChocoChips, because this is very interesting initiative you have taken. So I have seen your other channel also. Previously, you used to do a kind of a mimicry also, or what I call it,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
tax also. And after that,
yes,
you started teaching chemical physics also. These kind of
yes,
things I have seen in your channel. And now this new thing which I have found in your YouTube, that is ChocoChips, this product. So this ChocoChips is having something very interesting about the personality development.
yeah,
What
yeah,
I basically, from my side, what I have seen, I don't know what is your perspective, but what I have seen, it is more like a personality development kind of a channel, which helps you to understand how you can conquer the world in the very normal way. I'm saying,
yeah.
but
Not like
how to
Alexander,
conquer.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, but how can you achieve certain things, and how can you put your goals into a you can check whether you are in the right direction or not. This mostly what these contents, whatever you are content you are posting, is mostly helping to understand this phenomenon. Okay, how can I improve myself? So this is very interesting, and most of the people in this generation wants to understand that what is the actual meaning of personality development. It's not only the way of communication, it's not always only how you present things. This is not just this is just an aspect of what you call it, but it is not a complete picture. So in your videos, I'm seeing that you are touching each and every aspects of the personality, and you are trying to tell what is the secrets behind it and how you can cover it. That is what I have seen so far. So this is very
Thanks a
good
lot. Thanks a
initiative,
lot. Thanks
and
a lot.
I'll definitely say you will definitely reach to a height, because I can see from now
Thank you.
this content is having a power to grab the audience and having a power to get shared by thousands and millions of people. So best of luck for your channel.
Yeah, I call you Aman Bhaiya, right? I mean, other than the professional setup. So it's so nice of you to say like that, and definitely I would try my best to not let you down. Yeah, please about your channel a little bit.
So about my channel, it's Beacon in Science. Its name comes from beacon, like as we know, the light on the top of the
Yeah,
hill, which gives
yeah,
gives the light or the source of energy to the people. Like what that is what my idea. So it's like it is contained in a beacon, in a bin. That bin is what I consider my social media. In that bin, there is a fire, which is a knowledge which I wanted to give it to and spread it to the normal people, to the audience, and wanted whatever the knowledge information I have. I just wanted to impart those things, and in that time, I just wanted to make sure that whatever the content I am posting, whatever the things I am posting, should be relevant to some way or the other way, should be relevant to the current scenario also. Well, what are the recent research is going on, what are the suppose somebody is graduating or post graduating, and what else she or he can do after that, what are the things it will like he has to face in the interviews, and all these things, and regarding nanoparticles, regarding chemistry, these kind of things I'm posting. Maybe my frequency is not that good, just like yours, but the way of posting the videos, the frequency is not good because of my other work which I am doing. But I try whatever the time I get, free times, whatever the free time I get, I try to post something new, something informative, which whatever I hear it from somebody or something like that, I just try to make a video and do that thing. That is what.
That's great. That's great. Thanks a lot. And I know that you are doing it as a hobby because your end goal is something different. And I would really request every viewer to check your channel because it's very knowledgeable, and it's the way you animate things. I really love that on a personal note, right? So thanks a lot, Dr. Aman Bajpai, for joining for this podcast. And I'm looking forward to have you again sometime on some different topics. Yeah, and thanks a lot for your time. I know that you are really short on time, so we would wrap this here. I hope you enjoyed this as well. And yeah, see you soon. See you soon, and all the best for your new venture. You are shifting to a different location, so all the best. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Pato.
All
All the
right.
best to you.
So this was Dr. Aman Bajpai on the Maiden podcast on ChocoChips. Tell us how do you feel about this, and don't forget to write your comments, and also do let us know which next guest you would like to see on this podcast. And keep your eyes and senses open because your life is going to revolutionize very soon. Just stay with ChocoChips Incorporation. Stay thirsty, be great. Thank you.